Live. Apparently, we're live, everybody. Hey,
Hey.
This is the second ever episode of Beats and Bourbon live on Thursday nights. Tipsy views on the music news. I'm one of your
Did you
co-hosts.
just come up with that?
Yeah, it's just
that was nice. That was nice.
On the fly.
John
Kleinbell.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm John. Maybe we go around and just really quickly introduce ourselves. We have no idea. Don't expect anything professional here, by the way. We're just here hanging. But I'm John Kleinbell. I'm an independent producer in the Nashville area. Lived in Los Angeles for a long time too. Who wants to go next?
Guess we'll go through the way the blocks are going.
Yeah.
Dominique, independent songwriter, producer, engineer in the Nashville area. Works a lot in LA and in Atlanta. I'm kind of everywhere at this point. I need to find a home base, if you will. But yeah, living the dream, doing what I do. So.
Awesome.
Living the dream.
I'm Sonnet.
Oh no,
Sonnet. Sorry. Did I get it wrong?
No.
The blocks go.
I'm just trying to keep things going. Go for it, Sonnet.
I'm Sonnet, singer, songwriter, in the sync space a lot, and coach to a lot of songwriters out there, learning how to put their music into sync and write with sync in mind. And that's part of what I do in this life.
Good.
You do it well. Herman.
I am Herman Briseño. I'm a composer, producer, artist, crazy person, and just I do the thing, and we're here to do the thing and just do it. You know what I mean? So here we are. If you stay until the end of the show after we've imbibed enough, that's when the danger happens.
That's when the good stuff. That's when the 5-minute monologues happen.
But in the meantime, we're chill. John, are you still with the vanilla beam happening over there?
I got this. This is what I'm having tonight. Is a little bit of this with some Coke.
Nice. Yeah, I'm still going through the same.
Basil Hayden.
Yeah, Basil Hayden is
nice.
Been there.
Nice.
I realize that I'm not a big whiskey drinker, so it just sits there just for this particular event. So
it's a good one. So it's a good thing to save for something special.
Exactly, like Beats and Bourbons on Thursday nights. Look at that.
That's right.
There you go.
Many bourbons. Notice how I pluralize the bourbon too. Many bourbons. So many shall we have.
So let's go around the horn here. Let's just check in. Like, how's your week going? Like, what's going on in your music life? What's going on? Just otherwise, who wants to start?
I guess I'll start. Music world is good. Wrapping up 2 album projects with artists. One's out of St. Louis, one's out of here, and you know how that goes. Just putting the finishing touches on things and getting those final notes so that they can go ahead and get them out, to whoever they need to get it out to and all that type of stuff. That's good. Personal life is great, man. Can't complain. Got good friends, got good family. That's about it, man. Except for my 3-year-old's wanting me ragged, but he's
a boy or a girl?
Boy.
What's his name?
His name is Lux. Lux.
Oh, I love that name. That's cool. That's like a strong, solid name. It's really good.
He's a wild man, but I expect to be at that age, right?
For sure. You're like, may you always be wild in the world.
Exactly.
We lose that, some little aspects of that.
Yeah.
What about you, Sonnet? What are you up to this week?
This week, I don't know. I feel like I'm moving a mile a minute. It's hard to slow down to take assessment of what's happening. I've got 2 songs I'm trying to finish, but that's like within this month. I have a month to finish, so I move a lot slower. I have 2 little ones at home, and they also are running around. And then we're coaching a bunch of songwriters right now, and I feel really excited about that. Doing some some really refined songwriting coaching with them, which is great. We did a songwriting session yesterday that I just feel like it's like as we're coaching people on honing, you continually hone your own craft, because you're like, how do I articulate what you kind of have acquired in time as you've just done it over time? Then you have to break it down and articulate it, and it actually helps you also have refine your resources of what you're drawing from. So that's been good. Just got a lot of music going on and just a lot of things. So yeah, personal life is, I got 2 little kiddos, 2 little girls, so I'm just trying to also be the best person I can be and model that to them in everything I do. That's my main goal in life.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm going this way on the circle.
Go for it.
What am I doing? I have an album I'm doing for a library up in London. I have 1, 2, 3 songs for clients. There's another agency in Prague that I'm working material for them, and I and I have terrible organizational skills, so I'm way behind on everything. But we're doing see, like, it's hard to for me sometimes to be able to tell between necessary inspirational moment of relaxation and focus and just procrastination. Like, I just don't want to play that bass right now, like, come on. But so it's a little tough. Personally, I just have 2 dogs, and so they don't care if I'm a jerk. You know what I mean? So they just get to see me stumble through life in eternal pain and anguish. But no, we're doing good, man. We're just working a lot.
That's cool. You're working for a library in Czech. I wonder if it's the same one. I had a connect with them like 4 or 5 years ago, and then I just decided never to like pursue the library game. That was just something I decided I never wanted to do. But I'm curious, it might be the same one.
It's West One Music Group.
Oh, West One? Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was a different one. So I didn't know there's
Yeah.
multiple ones. I guess there's multiple ones over there.
Well, it was cool because, like, I actually got it through Clubhouse, and it's basically the Latin branch of West One Music, and it really came from just being in a Latin music room. And all of a sudden the producer guy's like, yeah, I work with this library, I'm always looking for artists. And there I go, slide into his DM, and then next thing you know, we already did a hip-hop in Spanish album like last year, and now I'm doing this sort of like Latin rock variety thing. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty good because like they work on good terms, you know what I mean. So it's definitely a good relationship there, and they were happy, I guess, with the first round of nonsense that I gave him. So they were like, hey, give us some more of that crazy sauce, and here we are trying to turn. I was actually just working on a ska song right now, which is cool because I mean I get to rock out a little bit. Too much pop sometimes, need to shake it out and play some live instruments and that kind of thing.
That's great, man. Hey, welcome to the party, Eric. How's it going?
Hey.
What's good, folks? Sorry I'm late. How y'all doing?
Good.
Doing good.
We're starting without you, unfortunately, but you have time to catch up.
Y'all are already 2 drinks in, I'm sure.
Oh, no, not yet.
How are things at the ski chalet there?
The ski chalet is dope here, man. Good powder outside. We're doing good. My green screen, it looks realistic though. If you're looking at a distance, it looks like a real fire in the background.
You still got the mysterious floating chaotic eyeball like that appears and disappears.
My chaotica hologram.
Yeah, I love it.
I wouldn't have known otherwise unless when you move around, and I was like, oh yeah, no, it's not real, because then you can start seeing but yeah, it's very realistic.
It's quite, and there's no screen too. It's just that's just StreamYards. I guess they got a good green screen filter.
Yeah. Good job, StreamYard.
John, what's up, bro?
Not much, man. Living the dream, my brother. Living the dream.
Good to see you, dude.
See you too, man. But hang out with Johnny here as much as possible. We're like the 2 LA Nashville guys, so we just kind of hang out as much as possible.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
We're trying to scout out some baseball games. Apparently, they have a minor league baseball team here. Trying to go check out some minor league baseball. My neighbor's like works for them, so got to connect there. Should be fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's good to have hobbies, Good to have hobbies, get out and do stuff, Which brings up the first thing that I wanted to talk about is like, how much free time do you guys have? Like, and what do you do with it?
Okay, when we say free time, we're talking about like away from music or like family music. That's way different.
Well, I guess you have to think about like, do you consider free time the time with your family, or is free time just free time that you have to do whatever you want to do?
That is a very good question. Like,
what's the answer to that question first, I guess?
So I'll jump in first because my wife and I just had a discussion about this, and it's challenging because my room doesn't look like a ski chalet; it's just a little room, and I'm pretty much locked in here like all day long, and we try to set aside time to hang out or at least watch a movie. We try to get a regular thing. We're watching TV over dinner or something, just have some time together. But at the same time, I am kind of, an introvert that needs like me time. And so we have this discussion like, okay, I do know that I'm working like for hours and hours and hours in the studio by myself on end, but I still do need me time. Even though it seems like I've been with me all day long, I still do need me. And that's always an interesting discussion. So far it's been going okay, but
I mean, I think it's like kudos that I know that about yourself, and you're not like trying to play that you can do it another way. You're like, I still need that time so I can be good for this time, because if I don't get that time, I'm no good at this time where you're hanging out, and it's like, if you don't own that, then you end up in a space that's no good for anybody. I think that's good.
For sure. I think a lot of people don't understand like this lifestyle as far as like, yeah, I'm locked in a room by myself, working on things a lot by myself or whatever, but that's not like you said, like alone time. That's not me time. That's not me decompressing. That's not me taking the time to refuel myself. They just see from the outside like, oh, you're by yourself all day, you should be fine. You're like, no, because I'm thinking, I'm doing stuff, I'm constantly expending energy. So yeah, no, totally get that. I think that's dope that you understand that, like Sonic was saying, and you're able to articulate that, because I think a lot of people aren't able to articulate that in that manner. So that's good.
Well, where do you go? How do you go about like carving out that time for yourself then?
So for me, I do. I've been trying to do like exercising or walking. Honestly, it's been a little easier since we've been to Tucson, because Raisha has a lot of family here. When we were in Greenville, South Carolina, it was just her and I. She had a couple of, she was there. We moved there because she was already established there, so she had friends in the neighborhood, but she's not as much of a go out, hang with the girlfriends type. But she is very family oriented, and she has, her mom. We moved here because her mom kind of needs some more support, but she also has some other relatives that are older as well. And so she just by that, she's gone here more so than she normally would, more than we've been used to back on the East Coast. And so it's so far, we've only been here, 4 weeks now, but so far I'm actually getting more time where I'm just vegging out in front of the TV, by myself, or going out for a walk kind of on my own. I'm not been so good yet about really getting out to Tucson. When I moved here, I said, I'm going to secure my weekends. I'm going to start something new. Every weekend, I'm going to go explore a new part of the city. I'm surrounded by mountains. Let's get up in them and let's do stuff. But I'm still locked away in this room like all day long. And then when I'm done, I'm like, couch, TV. So I'm trying to get out of that. That's a problem I have right now.
That's the problem, right? It's like you spend all this time working, you spend whatever time you need with family, and then if you do have extra time, it's so much easier to just like sit down on the couch and turn on the television, right? Or like, pop open the laptop and watch some YouTube. It's
really.
It's tough. It's tough. I get.
What do you do? What do you do, John?
I don't know. So I do have an action list. I have a list of different things that I'm trying to do here now that I moved to Nashville, and I'm really trying to be good about it, like trying to make sure I get out. And the exercise that I do, I make sure, like, I stopped going to yoga classes because I felt like it's better for me to get out and like be outdoors, because that's a big part of who I am. Is I enjoy the outdoors. I enjoy animals and plants, and just like I need like physical exercise, and for me to get out there and do it, it's like I feel like that's the best place for me to do it. So I just try every day if I can to get out there and just like huff and puff for like an hour or so. And I can read. I think it's cool is I can read a book while I'm like hiking around, or I can listen to a podcast, or like Sana was saying, I'm not sure what's happening. There's some kind of noise that's happening.
Yeah, somebody's popping out
kind of regularly there. I don't know where that's exactly coming from, but
I mean,
is that coming from mine or
from me? I don't know.
I don't know. It was coming from something. It sounded almost like it was like something was in like it's kind of like noise that's like in somebody's like one of the phones in somebody's pocket or something, or I don't know. Hard to describe what the noise was, but it was weird though. It's all good. Anyways, I just try to like for me, I'm like trying to. I think it's just the more I can actually get outside of the place, make any excuse to do it, and if I have to carve out some time to do that, it I don't know. For me, that's I'm doing that, and then maybe once a week I make sure to always go somewhere that I haven't been to before. Now that I moved here to Nashville, and I've been pretty good about it. I've been knocking off a lot of spots on the list, a lot of barbecue places, and places that probably aren't that good for my diet, but Nashville's a fun town so far.
That is the challenge I hear, because you think well, first of all, two things I want to say about that, John. First of all, I'm in Tucson, which of course, large Mexican community, very amazing tacos and just Mexican food in general. I found there's actually a really cool taco truck like in walking distance from my house. It's like pretty awesome. But the taco place you took me to is still my hands down. Like, that's the best taco I've ever had.
Where? Where?
Edley's?
Yes. That brisket taco. Oh my God.
It's like one of the best things I've ever eaten in my whole life. And they also make banana pudding, and I hated banana pudding before I ate the banana pudding there. And it's just like everything they make is amazing.
Brisket taco, like
funny, yeah. Their brisket tacos are just insane. They're just it's so hard not to go over there and eat every day.
So I've got like, you would think Tucson's, it's not really like rural, it's pretty suburban, but I have a grocery store less than a mile to the east, another set of stores less than a mile to the west, a Walmart about a mile north, and like every fast food. Chipotle is like a half a mile away. Food truck is half a mile away. Really good Chinese food half a mile away. Like, I have more temptation here. And there's a Safeway mile away, which I was always like a big Publix fan, groceries in terms of like their bakery. But this Safeway's bakery is 10 times better than the Publix bakery that I was previously in love with. So I've been struggling with fast food and the bakeries. They
make it way too easy.
Way too easy.
So
and
what's
Sounds like a struggle, bro.
What's this Chinese food place? There's one Chinese food place that I remember from Tucson back when I went to college there, and I wonder if that place is still around. Is it Mandarin Grill?
This place is called the Golden House. It's just a local spot here on the east side, but it's got a lot of it's known because it has a lot of gluten-free options, so a lot of people go there. But it's just a local spot, but really, really good.
Sounds great.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. So yeah, it's tough. Like, so we talk about like carving out time for yourself. Herman, how do you carve out time for yourself?
I just just carve it in the moment. No, I mean, I guess I'm in a situation right now, like I'm just getting out of a relationship actually, and so before it was like I would like, okay, I must stop working to make time to hang out with my girlfriend and all of that, and but now I'm in I'm entering this zone where, and also like like I said, I just live by myself. I don't have kids or anything, so I've been doing this thing where all of a sudden, if I do walk my dogs every morning, I do go out to just do that because like unless I have to like work in the morning, it's weird because I also play in bands and stuff like that. So I mean, right now I look at my calendar and my next day off is like June 3rd or something like that, and I'm sure it's gonna get taken again because it just kind of keeps on moving and moving, and you keep on booking people and you keep on like just working. But but now it's like this weird thing that like I'm like, okay, I need a creative nap, and I take a nap like at 2, and then all of a sudden I start working at 6, and then maybe I'll keep on working at 11 and work until I go to bed, and or weird things and some. It's like I mentioned earlier, organization is not my forte right now, so therefore I end up with little scattered free time around in between the places where I'm working. So I'll get a couple hours here, a couple hours there. Or when I got COVID, actually when I got COVID, I couldn't even stop because I had to go play a show to a big stage outside and everything, but I had to because we were contractually obligated, already paid. It was Cinco de Mayo, the whole thing, and it was not just me; it was the whole band, the event, etc. So the decision was made that I was gonna like go from the car to the stage and then out, and it was rough to be jumping and dancing and screaming and the whole thing, and well, not screaming really, but yeah. So I guess I don't know. Right now, I do have the benefit of just having all the time that I want to work, and since I don't really have any hobbies, this is it. This is all I do. So, but I hope I get to a place eventually where I am a big fan of like sometimes I just talk to my manager, or which is me, and ask for time off, and he's like, yeah, you need to do that. Like I am a big proponent that unless you have a deadline, like for sure, if you ain't feeling it, you ain't feeling it. And you have to allow yourself the time to maybe sit down and actually watch that stupid show and take in the music, because you never stop, right? Like you're watching the show and you're like, oh, that music's good, yeah, oh, I could make something like that. But if you need the time to turn off and get, and especially get off from the machine, like get off from the chair, and follow that feeling, and that way when you sit down, I think you'll be more productive or something. I like to believe that myself, but I honestly don't really think I'm an example of how to give recommendations on time management to anybody. But yeah, that's my
I mean,
case.
I appreciate that you talk to your manager about it, though.
Yeah. I always talk to management, and
Checking
management
in with
always
the
agrees.
management is really important.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. It's important.
We wear a lot of hats.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. Manufacturing doesn't like it. They're like, oh, what are we doing here? Sales doesn't like it. It's like, but I promised the client we were gonna have the song. And management is like, but the artist has spoken. The artist needs time. And that's when I turn into the artist, and I'm like, yes, leave me alone, everybody. And everybody's just me because and my dogs, but my dogs don't care. Yeah.
That's hilarious. I love the infrastructure you have, the business infrastructure you have over there. It's amazing.
Yeah, but I really do actually. I admire, and I always wonder about like people with active families, young children. Like how do you put in all the work and all the time and get the inspiration and keep up the energy? But I guess they have a saying in Mexico, there's la carga hace andar al burro, right? Like the load makes the mule go, which I know sounds very crass, but basically the more load you put up on yourself, I guess the price of the things that you can accomplish when you have to do them, right? And you bring energy out of, I don't know, how do you guys do it?
Sonny, you want to go first, or?
I mean, no, you go ahead. No, you go. I wouldn't say I have an answer. No, I probably do. Go ahead. You go.
I don't know. I mean, I think like my situation's a little bit different. Because before I got before I got married and had a child, I mean, I was going 24/7. I mean, I've spoke to John about this. We've had many conversations. I mean, I was going 24/7. I mean, I literally was leaving one session, going to another, going to another, going to another, getting home at 5, waking up and being at another session at 11. So that for me, but the crazy part was I never felt like I needed me time doing that. Like I was fine. I was fulfilled doing that. I think just because I'm so used to that, and I got lucky because my wife comes from a family that is in the industry and understands like how much it takes to keep this thing going. So she's never really been like, oh, I need this, every now and again, of course, we have to have date night, of course. I mean, that's just is what it is. But for the most part, if I'm working for, 12 hours and then I got, an event to go to or something else, it's not really an issue in my house at all. Like for us, which I know I'm lucky because it's not like that. I have a lot of friends and they're like, dude, it's definitely not like that. So I know I'm lucky, but I think like you said, like for me, just knowing that I have a lot of people that count on me. John's been to my house. My mom lives with me. We have this house. I have my son, my wife, and I take care of everyone. So just knowing that I have a lot of people that count on me kind of keeps me going. But like I said, I've always put a lot of workload on myself. So it's never been a problem for me. I guess like for me, for like my alone time that I need is like, I'm really into jujitsu, and stuff like that. So as long as I take a class every day just to get that aggression out, if you will, I guess, I'm good. That hour and a half a day, I'm good. And then I can just keep going. And then, doesn't bother me. I'll play with my son when he comes home from daycare or if the nanny can't take him out or whatever. So for me, it's just been, I think I just got lucky. It took me so long to get in a relationship because of the way I was working that I think I was really picky and chose someone that truly understood this lifestyle, because a lot of people that I met when I was, younger or whatever, early into this, they're like, oh yeah, I can totally deal with it. And then, you find out like 6 months into it that they can't, or they're just not really built for it. So I think I was just really picky, and I really was upfront from day one about what this looks like, what this life looks like. And if we get married, what this is going to look like. I'm not going to be home anymore now that we're married than I was when we were dating. And so, like I said, I got lucky. So for alone time for me, just to recharge is, luckily I like all the people I work with. I'm very selective on the people that I work with. I don't work with people that I don't get along with. So, John comes over, we'll write a song, and then we'll go get something to eat. That's enough for me for as far as recharging and having that time, because I try to work with people that I like to hang out with. So even if we're working, it feels like we're hanging out. So I feel like I'm getting that recharge. And for me, I found out that works the best, because we've all been in sessions where it's like pulling teeth and you're like, what? We've been here 30 minutes. It feels like 2 hours. And you're like, oh my God. So I try to stay away from those sessions. Luckily I'm in a point in my life where I can do that, because, not everyone is. But yeah, I try to stay away from those sessions and only work with people that I would like to have a beer with outside of a session. That way, if I do have, 3 sessions back to back, I know that if I'm working with John and then I got to work with Eric, I'm gonna have a great time, because both those are great guys and I enjoy hanging out with them. So I don't feel like I need this decompressed time because I'm only working with people that I like. So that's kind of what
I think that's a great
love
point.
that.
It's a great point. Just because it's like life's too short to do work that you don't want to do, and if you're doing the work that you were put, I feel like if I just keep doing the work that I know I was put on this planet to do, it doesn't feel like work, because it's like what I was meant to do. I was born to do it, And the people, it's like you said, amen to all that in terms of like, spend time working with the people that you enjoy hanging out, the kind of people that you'd like to have a beer with, the kind of people that you just like talking with. It's not draining. It's not like doesn't feel like work half the time.
Sure. That's my main that's my main message that I would tell anyone. Find the people that you like to hang out with, because this, like we all know, this is a grind, bro. Like this life is a grind. Like it can grind you down. So the more you're hanging around people that you don't want to be around, the more that grind is gonna get on you. And there's not enough hours in the day. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Real talk. So what about for you, Sonnet? I mean, as a mom, it's got to be an even more of a challenge finding you time.
I mean, I have 2 right here in front of me. Like, try to feed them. You can hear her talking to me. What are you doing, Mama? Like at all times, especially when I'm talking on the computer. Yeah, I don't have the same. I mean, my oldest is in preschool. I do have some hours. We have a sitter who comes, but it's still the same. Like finding that me time is, I get 9 to 11 on Saturday mornings, and I go to the beach and I go on a run, and that's my this is. I'm not going to plan anything. Don't plan anything for me. This is my time. Husband takes the kids. That's like my recharge. And I have made those 2 hours last me for the whole week. And then, it's like everything that I do, like the work that I do recharges me too, working with people and creating music. And you're like, that's exactly what I wanted it to sound like. That's what I wanted it to feel like. And just the energy that you get from people. And there's so much to be said about, can you guys hear all that? It's too loud.
No, it's
the
good.
noise in the background.
Doesn't bother me.
Okay, you're used to it. Yeah, no, I mean, there's so much to be said about that energy exchange. If it's sucking you dry, then you're like nothing's working. And if what you're doing is what you're loving, then you're living a life that is in alignment. Then it's all filling you up.
Oh, absolutely. Even just to piggyback on that. I mean, I think I told John this. I might have spoke to you about this, Eric. I recently had a song that went super viral on TikTok. We're talking, I think last time I checked, I think we're at like 9 million plays, right?
Wow.
But the thing is, I wrote that song. I was brought into this session, and these, I was just brought in, and these were people that I probably wouldn't have wrote with otherwise. And the sad part is, even though the song is doing so well and it's out there, I don't enjoy it. And I'm not enjoying the moment or it nearly as if songs that I've done that haven't done even close to that, because of the people that I was working with at the time. And so, even though that it's one of my most popular songs at the moment.
So you'll begrudgingly take the money. You'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
No, I so relate to that.
It's crazy.
I feel like I do try to choose work with people that I like working with and that I enjoy, collaborating with. But I've had one of my first collaborations when I joined Taxi way back in the day. Met a collaborator there. He and I have gotten so many placements together, but I've kind of pulled away from the collaboration because there's always there's a lot of pulling teeth in there. It's like, think different. It's just, and after a while, it's like this is just not enjoyable.
Yeah.
But sometimes the collaborations, sometimes the difficult thing works. And so I've always wrestled, am I stupid for pulling away when we're getting placements and people actually like this sound, but I hate making it, it's so we haven't actually worked together in a bit, but to be honest, sometimes he'll call and I'll be like, oh, let's give it a shot, just because I can't deny that it has worked and it does work. I just don't always enjoy the process, and it's a struggle.
No, I get it. I agree, and I think it's the same as being in a band. And we all know those rock bands that we hear the stories of. They all hated each other, but they still got out there and did the tour. I mean, I think there's something to be said. Even in sports and stuff like that too. People I can work with you and coexist, but I don't think there's any longevity in that, because eventually that candle burns out. It just does. It's going to, one way or another. And the thing is crazy, because the same people, the same kids that I wrote this song with, they're constantly now hey, we got to get back in the studio. We got to get back in the studio. And when I tell you, like, it is so hard for me to be like, they're like, what day are you free? And I'm like, 2025. Like, man, it was just it was the process of writing that song was just so painstaking to me that, like, even though it's successful and doing really well, it's like I never want to put myself through that again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just
Absolutely.
a situation. Because even like I said, like John, like me and John just recently did a write with two of his buddies. We went together for what, hours, and then we hung out that night, and then got something to eat, and it felt like the time flew by. These kids were at my house from like noon till 4. I swear, it felt like a week had passed.
So what I got to follow up. So some situations not as like fun to work in as others. What is it that makes a situation feel like work?
I think
lack of understanding or chemistry with the person that you're working. If all of a sudden you feel like you're in a certain vibe and that person is like on another, and it comes to a point where, like, I guess neither is appreciating the idea. So like if you're just not in the same channel, then it feels like work, because you still gotta like, and especially I feel like now we're in this era where maybe like the whole magic of recording is a little lost in a way, because you have so many tools in post that you can't really polish a turd to the point of passable commercial thing, even though it's always gonna have that weird thing, or maybe not, maybe like you never know. But
That's
I think
my
that's what
publishing
makes it,
company
is
name,
like
by
when
the
all
way.
of a sudden it's like there's this magical thing. And I was like reading about it today, about something called fison with 2 S's, which is is a word from French, and it apparently talks about those parts of music or art or anything that give you the chills, that give you that feeling all of a sudden that you're alive. And it's like a combination of is that taken? Because if that's not taken, that's a great
I don't know.
name for a production company. But
Might be good.
but yeah, that's a funny thing about music. I mean, when you reach that moment in the time of creation where all of a sudden you get this like, ooh, this is gonna be good. That's like Sonnet says, like that recharges you. That all of a sudden you're not tired. All of a sudden you're having fun. You feel alive. It's funny. It's called Fison. They did a study. They put a playlist with like 217 songs, all, and they analyzed it with the artificial intelligence and whatnot, and they come to that conclusion that there are certain things about contrast between parts, about breaking the expectations of the listener. If all of a sudden you're expecting something and they don't give you that, and they give you something different, all of a sudden that causes an emotional reaction on you. It's funny. It's a good article. I should post it in here or something. Actually, I'm gonna do that right now. Look at that.
Yeah, I definitely like I think I personally like when, I mean, I think what Jean said, like when the person has, like, you feel like you're hanging out with someone. I mean, collaborating is a chance to kind of like get to know someone. So you're actually building a relationship or a friendship, and you are bearing, a very important part of yourself to somebody else, like throwing out your ideas and throwing them against the wall and saying, hey, this is what I think. And if that process of encouraging, the other person to throw their ideas and you respecting their ideas, and if you feel, if it's mutual, I mean, some people are very like painstaking in the way they create, and some people are very like, hey, I just throw out the very first thing that comes into my mind. But if you're not the same type of creative, like if you're one of those painstaking people with one of those carefree whatever comes
That's
up
such
people,
a good point.
It'd be really, really difficult and uncomfortable,
Yeah,
so.
I agree with that 100%, because I find it really, like, for me, it's very challenging to work with the really analytical, down to the rules type does this rhyme with this? Are we introspective type of people? For me, because I feel like that's more painstaking opposed to the like go with the flow. We can come back and change that later, or does it sound good? Like, type. Those are the people I gravitate towards, even in life. You know what I mean? Like the go with the flow type people, opposed to the ones that like have to have everything charted out, and we need to make sure that the third chord is dominant. Da, 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 da. Like, I personally don't have time for that. Like when I'm writing, because I feel like when you're worried so much about the rules, I feel like you do lose a lot of time and a lot of things. I just watched Tory Lane, who's an R&B artist, hip hop R&B space. I just watched him on Twitch. I follow him, and he recorded 2 songs live that night. And the way he recorded was, one, for an engineer. If you're an engineer, his engineer has to be the best engineer I've ever seen in my life. Like, ridiculous, because he's literally in there with the beat, and he's saying, he'll say a word, or like come up with a line and be like, all right, play it back. And he'll play it back, and then he'll say the next line. He'll be like, no, erase that. And he'll just like, and I mean, they're literally just going right off the cusp. But he recorded 2 songs in like an hour and a half, and they were like complete smashes. And it was
I mean, at that point, you're already getting into the whole arena of talent. Then, I mean, and that's the crazy thing about this whole thing. And I mean, it's hard to get very objective, right? But then again, I mean, when you're working with a singer that all of a sudden it's 2 lines and everything sounds beautiful, and it's just like, oh shit, like that's it, 2 takes and you're done. It's great. Than when you're working with somebody that maybe it's not, it struggles a little bit more, or I mean, so it's but then how you gauge somebody's talent, and how comfortable you are to say like, hey bro, listen, you gotta go practice your track a little more, or I mean, it's tough. It's a tough thing, because I don't know, I feel feelings get involved.
Out of it comes those too. You know what I mean? Like, some people just don't have people skills. Like, there's people that like weren't, they might not be as talented as other people or whatever, as some people that I work with, but we have a great session just because they're good human beings. You know what I mean? Like, they have good people skills. They know how to talk. They know, they understand give and take, compromise type of things that you learn out in life. And you're like, what? That person might not be the greatest to sing, but they're fun to work with. I'll work with them, opposed to someone that's an amazing artist but has no people skills. Just a crap. Like, bro, I don't want to work with you ever again. So
yeah, true that. Even the most talented person, if you're not vibing, it doesn't work. And sometimes, like you said, people make up for lack of skills with the work ethic, with the showing up, with the the work. Yeah,
it parallels so much relationships. I mean, it's like a working relationship, creative relationship. It's a really vulnerable experience you're having with somebody, and you have to connect, like, not necessarily on you have to be able to work together quickly on however it is that you function in the world. It kind of shows up in that room when you're working with somebody. Similarly, also somebody who gets really caught up in the minutia of things, for me, it takes me out of the magic of intuitively just like dropping into what is next for this song. And I understand that sometimes that helps people get to the next, like that. But that's also how they function in life. It's like I have my spreadsheet to live by, so that I feel, like I know what's going to happen next. And I'm just don't work that way. So it's really true. Like, how we work in a room, how we work in life, it shows up in these intimate spaces of songwriting.
Ding, 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 for sure. It's like, it's because one thing too that I think about too, it's like, if I'm not enjoying working with somebody, it is probably more likely that there's a potential for problems like later on too, after the song's done, when the song's going further down. The road, are they gonna, if they're combative when I'm just writing the song with them, are they going to be combative about, oh, okay, I'd like to do this deal, or can we bring the song in? I feel like because you're so right. It's like the way in which I show up for this writing session is the way that I kind of live my life, and you can you can feel people out. It's actually part of the magic of it, because you meet so many amazing people and you see, oh, this person's really dope in person and they're an amazing writer. And it's just, that's like, those are the situations you want to say yes to as much as possible, and fill your schedule with those kinds of situations.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So, let's see what else. What else are we talking about today? I think we talked a little bit about free time. What kind of free time do you have? What do you do with it? How do you carve it out? And then, one thing that made me think about is like, what are our hobbies? I think it's because it's not something that like I think hobbies are kind of like these, in a way, they're like the really cool stuff that maybe nobody knows that you like collecting, like thimbles or something like that. Everybody's got like it's like, Jean, I had no idea that you were into jiu-jitsu. That is like the most intense workout I've ever had in my life. A buddy of mine invited me out to a jiu-jitsu thing. I was on the verge of throwing up after I was done with that. It was so intense, but it was really fun. I just felt like if I like jumped in and did that, I would probably hurt myself or hurt somebody else, because it's very aggressive. Super fun. It's like, you'd never know unless you kind of like, what's your hobbies? I think hobbies can be like a real interesting reflection of people too. So I was thinking like maybe we could talk about like what are all yours? What are all of y'all's hobbies? And why do you enjoy them?
Who wants to go first? Who's going first? I guess I'll go first. All right. So obviously, jiu-jitsu is definitely one of my hobbies. I've been doing it for, I would say 11, probably 10 or 11 years now. Fell into it because I just love to eat, man. I'm gonna be honest. And working out, like just going to the gym and lifting iron, just not my thing. You know what I mean? It's just not like, so for me, jiu-jitsu like was a way to kind of stay in shape. And then I just kind of learned, like, I fell in love with it, just, because it's kind of like, for lack of better, it's like a chess match between two bodies, if you will, kind of thinking that, trying to see what they're doing and counter someone else, especially when you start getting into the higher levels, like, oh, this guy does this, what's the counter to this, what's this and this. So that's definitely one. Soccer, I played soccer for my whole life. I still play currently, like whenever I get chances. One of my, that's one of my hobbies that I love. And then other than that, video games. There you have it. I'm your typical guy.
What games are you playing right now?
Man, if I'm not playing, I don't play Call of Duty, which is funny because I feel like that's like the every guy play game. I play like basketball. I play soccer. I play a lot of sports games. But I'm really into like car games, as far as like racing games.
Like Gran Turismo, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Even though this is funny, in real life, I know absolutely nothing about cars. I can change a tire and stop. So go figure. But yeah, I'm really into those. And so that's kind of it.
Fun. Yeah. Everybody's got to have their escapes.
There you go. For sure.
Who else? Nobody else wants to talk about their hobbies? I mean, I'll jump in if nobody else wants to jump in, but I've got like a very random assortment of different hobbies that I enjoy. I really enjoy puzzles. So is it me? Is it me? I'm trying to figure out if it's me or not.
It might be yours. Maybe Jean should mute first, and then we'll find out.
Yeah, let's try meeting you, Jean. Yeah, let's see. Well, okay, yeah. So hobbies. I love puzzles, crossword puzzles, Sudoku, Wordle, that kind of shit. I'll be up sometimes if I'm late at night. I'll even like it. It's almost midnight. I'll wait until after midnight so I can play the next Wordle that happens, because I love like stimulating like both sides of my brain.
I fucking love Wordle. Yeah,
I love it.
Awesome.
I'm freaking hooked on it, and so I love games. I love board games, just like anything like stimulates the mind. I'm really into it. I'm actually into like I'm a gamer too, but I'm really into like the strategy games more than anything. Like collectible card games, any game that like, because I'm not good at like I love playing the first person shooters and like talking shit to people, but like I'm terrible at them. Like I don't have the fast reflexes for it. So it's like I like the strategic games. Those are the ones I like a lot. The racing games are fun too. What else do I do? A dodgeball. For about 15 years, I was in different rec leagues in Los Angeles, and it was just one of the funnest things I ever did in my whole life. And I'm kind of sad. It's like that. I actually have a tattoo that's partially inspired by dodgeball. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. I feel like going back to what you were saying, Jean, having like some healthy outlet to exert your aggression is very important. And I feel like it's actually kind of missing in my life. I do feel like I get that out in nature. I think that's where the hiking comes in, because I like challenge myself to go up these hills. I'm like, damn you hill. Like you try to power through it and you get a little bit of that energy out, but it's not the same as just throwing a ball as hard as you can at somebody. There's like, it's like it's a healthy way to get it out. I like collecting things. I don't know, sports cards, comics, I even started dabbling in NFTs, which was a terrible decision. But whatever. It's just like I let myself collect the things that are just fun, because I used to collect baseball cards when I was a little kid, and kind of gives me nostalgia with all that stuff. And nature, like that's the other thing for me. I think those are just my main hobbies. Games, dodgeball, collecting things, video games. But I don't really have like all day to play them. And so I got to pick and choose my spots. And it's tough to do sometimes because video games can be very time consuming. I don't know what that says about me personally. I guess that's the thing. It's interesting. It's like if your hobbies are a reflection of who you are, it's like, it's interesting to think about, because I think that there's probably like with everybody's hobbies, there's probably some type of like, what am I trying to think of? Like it's perceptions about certain hobbies, or perceptions about like, it's like all gamers are just like glued to their TV and they don't do anything and they're lazy or whatever. Maybe all dodgeball players are super aggressive and hipsters, I don't know. It's like everybody's hobbies probably says something about them, but it's probably also there's misperceptions too. It's interesting. Anybody else want to go?
That's why I like that we're doing this, because like just learning different stuff about you. Like I didn't know about the wrench tattoo, and
I didn't even know that. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I'm very is that the word? Unperceptive, which so like I've never even noticed that tattoo, but I love dodgeball and I love that movie, and I love the fact that you took that quote from there. I think that like that's really, really cool. And didn't know Jean did jiu-jitsu. I think that's cool as well. So just learning more about people and what they're into is pretty dope. I think I've had hobbies at different times, but I guess it's a little boring, but I don't give myself time to really go into hobbies. At one point in my life, I was really serious about skiing. Another point in my life, I was really serious about tennis. I like both of those. Not really big athletic in general. So it's those are the two most athletic things I've been really serious about. And now that I'm on the West, I'm actually looking forward to getting back into skiing, heading up to Colorado or Canada and other places. So I'm pretty excited about that. And we're also, Raisha and I, talking about getting outdoors and playing around with some tennis stuff. Like we have rackets, but I haven't played in at least a couple of years. So I think the only thing that probably counts as a hobby is I'm an avid reader. I read a lot, mostly nonfiction stuff. So mostly like business books, marketing books, memoirs, like stuff that probably bores other people, but I love reading about like how other people make money, or how they found their success, what they stumbled upon that just happened to work for them, or whether they were born into certain relationships, like just trying to figure out people's puzzles and how, and so whenever I see, oh, such and such, Jeff Bezos is a millionaire, or Elon does this, I need to know like how they got that, and, what can be reverse engineered, and what was just the nature of, kind of who they are, or who their family was. So I love that type of stuff. I like motivational stuff. All nonfiction. I mean, I do sci-fi too. The next thing on my Kindle list that I need to read is the Star Wars character called Thrawn that has a whole series out, who's like the new Star Wars
That's really
supervillain.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Really,
Is
really cool.
Thrawn like a bad guy or girl?
He
or,
is. He's like the new villain. He's blue and has these red eyes, and he was in
he was in Mandalorian, right?
not Mandalorian, the other one. One of the new animated ones he was in.
Oh, Boba
not
Fett. He was in
Clone
the
Wars,
Boba
but
Fett thing.
He wasn't in Boba Fett. But there was not that blue guy. Another.
There's more than one blue guy. It's a new badder blue guy.
It is. This one's like a general. He's like, he doesn't really have any superpowers. He's just like a genius and incredibly strategic, and he fights the war like a chess player, and is always one step ahead of everybody. Pretty badass too.
Interesting. Hey, I was wondering if you're into like the improvement books and success stories and stuff like that. Like, what's a good one that you've read recently?
Let's see. What I'm reading right now on my Kindle, I'm reading Tools of the Titan, which is Tim Ferriss's book, which is like reading 100 books in one, because he pretty much takes his podcasts where he interviews all these people and he asks them all the questions of what's your daily routine, if you're athletic, how did you lose weight?
Oh, wow,
if you're a millionaire, how did you make money? And he has this huge book, which I think in paper is like 600, 800 pages, and he pretty much organizes everybody's answers by category. Like, these are how all these people made money. Here are the most, and he shows where the consistency is. Like 80% of the people are reading this one book, or it's said that this one book changed their life, and most of them use this app. And so it's all about resources and tools that successful people have used. It's really cool. It's one of the few books that I've read, bookmarked, and I'm going back and just reading through all my bookmarks, trying to just soak in like a lot of the common answers.
Wow, I'm definitely gonna check that book out. I like Tim Ferriss, and the way that he gives the information sounds so easy to digest, and then you're just like, oh, this is the common thread. I like that.
I'm enjoying this book.
Changing all our lives.
Great. Cool. I need the next thing to listen to on my long hikes. So hopefully there's an audio version of it.
That's a good question.
You'd think if he was a podcaster, he probably has an audiobook.
He probably did it himself. Yeah. I'm looking now.
It's hard for me to sit down and read an actual book, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's so tough for me to do it.
I strongly recommend the last Quincy Jones book, the 12 Notes on Life and Creativity.
That was good.
It's really good. It's really easy reading, and it's just, it's Quincy Jones talking about, it divides it on the 12 notes, I guess, of the scale, but each one is a lesson that and it takes you to the time where he learned that lesson, and it's pretty crazy, but it's an easy read, and it's actually pretty, like, you get stuff out of it. You'll feel like, yeah, I'm like Quincy Jones.
Cool. Yeah, that's going on the list too. I got 2 now that I gotta get to, because I just finished a book, and I need something else to read. Cool.
Yeah, the Tools of the Titan is on Audible. It's a big book. It's like 23 hours.
All right, that's last one I read was 9 hours. It's okay. It's like here's the thing. One of the life hacks that I got recently is if you go on long hikes, or you just like instead of listening to music when you get in your car, always listen to audiobooks. In the course of a year, you're going to get through like 50. You're going to read 50 books a year, like doing that, and you're just going to level up. And it's like, but it's tough for people like us in music. I mean, one other subject that it just pops into my head that's like could be fascinating to hear y'all's perspectives on is just like how hard is it for you to listen to music outside of working on music, and how hard is it for you to find the time for doing that? And because I know my relationship to just listening to music has definitely changed a lot since I started making it. But getting back to like, it's just audiobooks are great because then you can just you absorb all the information. For me, it's just like I sweat it out while I'm doing it, and it feels like it kind of sinks in a little better as I'm doing that too. So
yeah, it's like a lot of talk radio in the car when unless I have to listen to something for whatever the process that I'm through, is like I just like to hear people talking or silence, which is impossible to find like here in Los Angeles. Really, I mean, you have to go on a hike or something like that and really try to find actual silence, or yeah, because it's tough, but yeah, I mean, you do it now socially, I guess, right? If all of a sudden you're hanging out with somebody, I'm always anxious when somebody's riding in my car because I'm like, what am I gonna play or what am I gonna do, you know? But yeah, it's when I don't have to, I guess I just try to give the ears a rest, because otherwise, and the ears and the brain, because as soon as you listen to something like, oh, that's there, oh, look at that, it's like the brain
I
starts analyzing.
It's weird to me because I've learned recently that um some people are really uncomfortable with like silence, and whereas I'm kind of like you, Herman. Like if I'm at my house, I really relish like moments where I have no TV on, no music on or anything, just like kind of quiet. And then my mother-in-law came over like a week ago, and she's like, "You don't have the TV on or nothing. Just like there's no like no background noise." And
Right.
I realized like for some people that's like really weird. Like you just like not having anything in the background is a weird thing.
Yeah, I think just recently I started listening to music for like with pleasure again. Like it's been so long where I'm either analyzing, it's for homework, it's for a project, it's for, it's never 100% just for pleasure, but just like what do I feel like listening to? Even if it's not going to improve my ears on what's modern and fresh right now, like what do I just feel like listening to? And I just started doing that again recently, and it's been a while since I've enjoyed listening to it just for listening to it. Yeah, but my hobbies include running outside. That's probably my biggest one that's just traveled with me in life. Traveling, which I'm doing very little of. And I listen to books on tape, but or podcasts. Like any free time I have, I have like an earbud in listening to a podcast, and they're usually something about some inspirational, live your life, show up in all the ways that you want to in this world. Here are some new keys, some new clues. This is how somebody's doing it. Just whatever's going to inspire you for those days. I was listening to something the other day where they were like, when you're listening to those things where it just feels like God comes through or something comes through where it's just it opens you up, and then you can show up in your life from that open space. And so I'm always just looking to fill myself with those things that put me in the right mindset and space to show up in the rest of my life. So I guess those are my hobbies. That's how I spend any free moments, and Sudoku at 11:45 at night where I should be sleeping.
Nice. Yeah.
I
Sudoku is
love
like
that.
New York Times.
Yeah, I've been I go seasonally through hobbies. I think like they kind of come and go. Like I mean, right now I'm actually not hobbying at all. But like in the winter, when work slowed down a little bit, I got an Oculus, and that brought out like kind of like some of my most disturbing and violent behavior. So I stopped doing. No, I'm just kidding, because I started playing this game called like Blade and Sorcery, which is just like really you grab swords. I mean, there's no point to the game. You just fight with people, stab them, and it's all kinds of medieval violence, right? Which is very fun. But also it's funny, like the boxing. Like I got into the Oculus for a couple months, but then now it just sits there. Before the Oculus was tennis for a good while. I do love a good round of tennis. Uh, the nature, I think I double down on that one too. Like I haven't gone hiking in a long time, but every time I've gone, it's like it's the fact I feel like the geometry is so different when you go out in nature. It's almost like listening to different kind of music, like it's I don't know. It's very very recharging. Every time you can go take a hike, take a hike. That's good. And yeah, and all the unhealthy habits of passing the time, just hanging out and you know doing the thing.
Cool. Hobbies. We need them. I feel like I need my hobbies in order to like it's just like
Rounds you out.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, and I forgot. I do get down with Magic the Gathering, even though it's like a money pit. I haven't played in a long time, like in a few years actually, which is the last time that I really went the hole, because you start going down in a hole and just throwing money on cardboard. But that's really good. So if anytime, if you're into that, John, if anytime you wanna, square up.
Wait, what game is this?
This is called Magic the Gathering.
I'm
What
familiar
is it?
with it. It's a collectible card game. It's based on like it's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons kind of. There's wizards and different creatures. There's different. I think it's just like the colors, right, represent different strategies. There's like four different colors, and then it's a turn-based game, and it's very strategic, very involved, takes a lot of times to set up, and
you have to buy a lot of cards to get the good ones, and so it's a money grabbing scheme mostly, but a very entertaining one actually. If you find the right people to play with, it's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, I do the kind of the watered down version called Hearthstone. That's like it's Magic the Gathering made simple, and it's not any less of a money grab. I mean, but it's also free to play. Like you can play it for free, but if you want to play with all the decks and you want to play with all the fun cards, then you got to pay money for it. But it's I feel like those turn-based games are really fun. Yeah, if I'm next time I'm in LA, if I feel like playing some Magic the Gathering. I've done it like a couple of times. It's fun. It takes a little while to set up and just remember the rules or figure out the rules. Actually, the times that I played, me and my buddy who I was playing with, we didn't really know any of the rules.
It's all about making the rules and having your opponent believe you, and then that way that's it. It's like, yeah, no, this is totally legal. Don't worry about it. Just believe me. I know. I've been playing since the 90s. Like, and then
as
they're
long
like,
as you say that I've been playing longer than you, I know the rules.
I've been playing since first edition, bro.
Then you win the game. That's how it works. It's fun.
All right, guys, this is my out. I have to leave now. Dinner time and bedtime calls. But this has been such a good conversation. I loved hearing and learning more about all of you and the process of our creative lives. So thank you for sharing.
Been fun hanging.
Always good to see you.
Thanks for joining, Sonnet.
Good to hang with you. Good to finally meet you.
So good to finally meet you. Have a great week, guys.
Let's hang.
Yeah. And now it's 4.
So this is when we start getting really drunk and just like, and this goes south like real fast. What are you gonna start? See, like he just started doing them drugs. Like,
he did look like he does. What is that? You need to explain, John. John was like, "Oh, Sana's gone. Hold on, let me pull it out."
Break up the pills here. Here we go.
Is this the after party?
Oh, that's funny. Is that like some supplement or what is that?
Yeah, so I don't know if you follow like the Joe Rogan Alpha Brain stuff he has.
No, is that kind of like the coffee? What's the coffee one that's kind of like brain fuel? That's like can't remember the brand, but is it like brain fuel kind of stuff?
Yeah. But like, this is Joe Rogan's like own like personal kind of one, I guess. It's called Alpha Brain by Omit. I got onto it probably like a month ago. Like I watch his podcast all the time, and he was just talking about it, and like he had a whole bunch of people on it talking about it. And I was like, whatever. Let me try it out. And I tried it out, and I was like, holy crap! All right, you definitely
really,
yeah, dude. You feel focused for sure. Like all the I have severe ADD, so like I'll be working on something and jump to something else and jump to something else. I feel like this really helps me. Like, all right, I need to finish this, hone in. I finish that, and then I'm on to the next project, next thing. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I just got a new bottle today, so that's what I was looking at. But it's kind of expensive. I'm not gonna lie. It's like $90 per bottle.
What's it called?
Oh,
It's called Alpha Brain.
Alpha Brain.
Yeah, it's like $90 per bottle. And and I mean, I get this. This is a 90 capsule supply. They say you're supposed to take 4. Some people take 4 a day. I take 2, just to make it last longer. Because at 94, you know what I mean, like that thing's gone in like a month. You know what I mean, if that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I like it. So.
I'm gonna have to give that a try. I just mostly just take probiotic every day. That's what I do as far as supplements. I used to be into like Chinese herbs and stuff like that. There's a place called Dragon Herbs in Santa Monica that I used to go to, and they had like all different kinds of blends, like ones that were for like your just general overall health and reishi and all these different Chinese herbs that were. I don't know. I kind of thinking back, I wonder if it seemed like really subtle. It was never like I popped a couple of the capsules and I was like, whoa, this is, but you're saying that like when you take it, you're like, whoa, you notice a big difference.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. My phone kind of like went kind of dead. So what you say?
All good. No, I was saying like with I used to take Chinese herbal medicines just as a supplement, and I noticed they were always like really subtle, like by the impact that they had. I was thinking that they probably were doing stuff because it seemed like they were making me better in a way, but it wasn't like the situation where you're talking about where you pop a couple capsules and you're like, whoa, like it's on, kind of like it's that kind of deal with it.
Maybe the first day is not so much, but by the 3rd, 4th day, you're like, you start realizing like, oh, I'm getting shit done. Like, whoa, I mean, like, whoa, okay, cool. Like, I'm really, tuned in, kind of like trying to find like doing one thing, trying to find like, okay, what's next? You know what I mean? Like, not like, all right, I finished that. Let me go watch some Netflix for a minute. You know what I mean?
It gives you brain stamina. Is that kind of the whole idea?
Definitely, for sure.
Oh, cool.
John, we got to find a
kind of like bourbon, I guess, right?
Sorry, what were you saying, Jean?
So we got to find a dodgeball league out here, brother.
I know. I actually was gonna. I thought for a second I should just start one because there is none here. I
still think you should do that.
There's no dodgeball league here at all. We should actually make it like a musicians dodgeball league.
That would be
you and Jean and Jean league. J and J dodgeball league.
Dude, we really should look into starting that dodgeball league. That'd be so.
Let's do it, man. Maybe we can make some kind of thing where it's like mixers for musicians, and mixers for musicians is kind of cool. That's kind of
I mean, it's Nashville. It's like anything you start, 50% of people who come are going to be music people. You just as soon as you put it,
man, Nashville is crazy, man. I just spent there like, 24 hours, like, and just only once, that I went and play over there. And I was just amazed at all the musicians like playing in every floor of every bar that is like on the strip, that they like really, you can tell them whatever song you want to hear and they all will play it. Obviously, most people just want to hear "I Got Friends in Low Places." And, I don't know.
Their job's mandatory. They have to,
but
like it's like when you sign up for you do like the screening. It's like, do you know this song? And if you don't,
you have to have friends in low places. But we went to this close to downtown, this moonshine a place that has like moonshine of every flavor. And I mean, it's actually kind of like a fancy-ish bar, not fancy-ish, but hipster-ish.
Was it Sixth and Peabody? It looks kind of industrial.
I know it's close to downtown. It has like a little yard.
It's a brick building. There's a brick building. It has like these garage doors that come down. It looks kind of industrial. And then there's like a backyard area that has like an Airstream trailer.
Yes. And the moonshine is okay. They have moonshine of every flavor. But inside, there was these people selling hot chicken sandwiches. They were not even speaking like English. They were is it Cajun Creole? I'm not exactly the French sort of mixture, but that's it. It was white bread, piece of chicken. I've never had anything like it. Since then I became fan of hot chicken, but obviously here, you find something good. But and they were only there for like 2 hours and they run out. Like that was it, and they were gone. It was phenomenal. It was the best fucking thing I've ever eaten. and it's inside that place, and I guess they only go there, like at lunchtime, and that's it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I know exactly the place you were at, and it's it's really close to downtown. It was actually at an Academy Awards mixer the other night there, and it was a different hot chicken. They brought there's a hot chicken place here called Prince's, which I'd never been to before, and they were doing catering there, and it was
nice.
It was like you described, but not really Creole spicing. It was more like just kind of the traditional. Actually, it was kind of like, it was like Hattie B's, but just Eric, we went to Hattie B's, right?
Did we go together?
I don't know. Maybe you.
No, Reich and I went to Hattie B's. I don't think you weren't with us when you went. But
so it's kind of like Hattie B's. Princess is like Hattie B's, but if it's like a little like sweeter. It's good. Very good.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Hattie B's. This was my first time getting the Nashville hot chicken. It was good.
Hattie B's, it's all pretty spicy there. What spice level did you get?
I'm sure we just got like a medium or something. Maybe we did hot. I can't remember. We didn't do like super hot. We didn't do anything like that.
Hot's no joke.
It's the sad thing about like hot chicken, kind of like certain Mexican dishes too, like where you can get your level of spice, and if you're not careful, like you'll just you can't even enjoy it because you're just crying and just I went to Oakland for New Year's, and in Oakland there was the world famous Hot Boys. That's what's it called. And that was real. And the funny thing is that it was like really, really cold. So my body was all confused because like it was not coming out of my nose, and I'm like shivering, but at the same time I'm burning and I'm sweating and I just don't know what's happening. But it was good. But yeah, I couldn't fully enjoy it. And then I had sequels. Like I'm on the 4th floor, man. I can't be eating like everything and not expect something to.
Oh, he froze.
Hot chicken's good. What were we talking about? We were talking about something. Oh, we were talking about hobbies. What about, let's see, I've got a list of topics here.
Something you said. Can't remember.
What am I?
Said that I wanted.
I don't know if this falls into hobbies, but I used to do this all the time. I need to start getting back into it. So like I would pick like 4 places that like I just had never been, like just rural places, whether it be like Iowa, North Dakota, Kansas, or whatever. And I would rent a Airbnb, and I would go there, and I'd bring my gear, and I would just cook up, bro, like out in those, just out in those weird rural places. And then just kind of, like I'd be making music all day and then kind of go see what the nightlife was, and then, come back, make the music. And when I tell you, man, some of the greatest songs I've ever done have come from that process of just going just places where no one, or maybe you and a buddy go, you know what I mean? And you guys are just there, like, all right, man, we're just gonna
love that.
So you're talking about like a town of 10,000 people that's out in the middle of nowhere, or even smaller than that.
We just pick places, be like, we're gonna go to so-and-so Kansas, you know what I mean? Like no one's ever been there, like we've never been there. And we would just go and we'd rent an Airbnb, and we just be making music all day, and then we go out and see what they had to eat, and see what the nightlife was, and then next day do it again. And it was just, I mean, I don't know, man, it was just refreshing just to see like different parts of the world, different parts of America and stuff like that.
What I like about that is like instead of like waiting to get invited to a writing camp, you just organize your own, pick a spot, create, and just show up there. That's kind of pretty dope.
I've always wanted to do that, like with like buddies, be like, you know what, let's just pick like 4, like take like 4 or 5 guys, and we just pick a spot. We don't care where it is, and we just go for like a week, or 3-4 days, and just cook up, and then just hang out and go out. You know what I mean? Like, because
I love that.
I'm in. Let's do it.
I'm so into. I'm like, that's pretty dope.
Writers, because one of the things in Nashville, you have access to so many states. Like Tennessee is like surrounded by other states,
exactly,
and many of them I've never really been to before in my life. I haven't been to any of the states in the Deep South, and I don't think I've ever really been to a lot of places. And like I think I've driven through part of Kentucky.
We should go. We should go to we were supposed to do it on our cross country trip, but we didn't get to make it because the timing wasn't going to work out to actually do the tour. But we were supposed to stop in at Stax and see like the studio in Alabama where like all the where Otis recorded and Tina Turner and all of them. And we didn't get to go there, but it seems like a great town to go in just to be able to check out the studios.
Yeah.
The
Is that near
like
Muscle Shoals or where is that?
That's
I don't
what
know.
it was. Muscle Shoals.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
Yeah, and it's basically like
And
shit, like starting your own. It's basically like setting up your own writer's camp and just doing your thing. And you're gonna have a good time because you already get along with. So you just
people. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely don't invite somebody that you don't get along with on that kind of trip. There's nothing worse than actually like I don't really have too many stories because most of the long cross country trips that I've done, I mean, I've never have been like a touring musician really so much, and most of the cross country trips that I've gone, I've just been like either moving from one state to another or just driving the long distance from like where my grandparents lived to where I was living out in the Western United States a couple of times. But it's like I've heard stories from friends of mine about like going on road trips with people that they don't like hanging out with, or did you butt heads with people, and that's like the worst. I would imagine
being locked in the car with someone you don't want to be around. For sure. Hold on.
Awkward.
Yeah, man. I mean, one of my first tours was like a 2-month across the country tour with a drummer that ended up like leaving the band after the tour, and by the end he was, it was, the tension was terrible. He predicted my death and everything. It was bad.
What?
But yeah. It was nuts. But
did
yeah,
you
man.
accept the prediction, or did you just say no? That's not.
No,
that's
no. He just said like, because he was, it was a drummer, so it was weird. You know what I mean? But
hey,
but
careful.
I gotta jump off real quick. I got a client calling me. But
all right, man.
Been great.
Go ahead.
Good chatting you, bro.
All right, for sure.
Catch you next time.
Man. Yeah, it was he just like said like in one of the last nights, I remember we were in Santa Cruz or something like that, and he's like, I'm I can see now visions of your death, and and this is gonna happen to you, and nobody's gonna go to your funeral, you're gonna die alone. I hate you, and like all kinds of terrible things. I have to skip really quick because I'm about to get feedback on a song
All
that
right.
I did at the Water Pitch. I'll be back and report what was said to me in a few minutes.
Good luck. Good luck.
All right.
And then there was two.
There's two.
This is
but I'll be listening to you. So okay. Watch out.
Okay. Yeah,
so we can't talk about Herman. In other words,
that's all we're gonna do the whole time he's gone. Because as soon as Sonnet left, we talked a bunch of shit about her, and then we talked a bunch of shit about Jean the moment he popped off. And
if I feel like that should be the thing. If you leave early, you're like fair game. I think people should just understand that.
Sure, yeah, I think so. I think it's fair. only fair. It's only fair. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, I think maybe I should start a dodgeball league. We'll see.
Bro, what's giving you hesitation about it?
That's just a lot of work, dude. I mean, honestly, like I did the homework, and here's an interesting thing. Like I think about this a lot. It's like there are many things in my life where I tried to make it happen. I tried to do something. I tried to accomplish something. And it's like a lot of like, it just ends up being like a false start. It's like, for example, like I've been really like lately I'm back on another health kick and I'm really like counting my calories. I'm creating a caloric deficit. I'm exercising. I'm feeling good. I am actually losing weight. My clothes fit me much better. I'm about almost a month in and it's going really well. But the thing is, there's been a couple of times where it yo-yos a little bit. And I think that's just like you start to realize, oh, wait, that's just kind of how it goes. And even if like, because I think in the past, I would just be like, there'd be like some kind of bump in the road and you're like, oh, maybe have a day like, because you're trying to change lifetime eating patterns. It takes time. Right. So, and it's hard work. So I have like one day where I maybe go to McDonald's and I, weigh myself on the scale the next day and I weigh like 4 pounds more. And I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? I've been like so good. Like
It's
I
like
like one day where I
4
go
weeks to
over
lose
a bit.
4 pounds and 1 day to gain it back. It's like ridiculous.
It's crazy, but that's the whole thing is like, I've realized the key to doing anything that you really want to do is you just have to keep trying. You just have to keep trying. So I'm like, I had a day where like this last week where I was up like 3 pounds, and I had like one day where I was not eating well, and I ate too much and all that stuff, and I didn't exercise, but I didn't think I deserved it. It felt like I was being punished in a way. And it's I think sometimes it's like, it's hard not to take the constant success, the constant markers of success personally, and then you get dejected from it. So for me, like with dodgeball, I've managed a couple of dodgeball leagues in my life. They're really fun. I think I'd be good at it. It's a lot of work, and it's homework. So first it's homework. You got to find the venue, and then you gotta create the marketing materials for it. You got to come up with a name. You got to get the insurance. You absolutely have to have insurance because you don't want somebody suing you for breaking their arm or something like that. And then it's like anytime there's and you also, like, if there's a social sports league, anytime you need to have insurance for that too, because if it's an after the games like bar you go to, there's theoretically somebody could black out and something bad could happen, and they could sue you because you were the one who facilitated the league in the happy hour later on. So it's like, I don't know. It's like you got to get all the insurance for that, and find the sponsor bar, find a bar that'll sponsor you. I'd never have done that before. I don't imagine it would be that hard to do. Because it's basically like, would you like to have like 80 or 100 people show up every Monday night and fill your place and drink a lot of beer and have a good time? Bars tend to like that a lot. So
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just, it's work though, but I feel like it's like, it is a lot of work, and
but it also sounds like, I mean, I don't think, when you talk about the diet or other tasks, those fall in the category of things that you feel like you should do, that kind of like should do. And so it's sometimes harder to stick to them, especially when the obstacles or the difficulties come, which is how we get in the yo-yo. But if you're working on things that you truly, truly, genuinely love, which is why we stick to music, despite all the obstacles, is because we just really love the process of creating and getting these ideas out. I feel like dodgeball, just from what I've heard, you seem to enjoy it just as much. So I think I've always believed that the trick is everything is a pain in the ass. It's a matter of how much it's finding the things where the positives fill us so much that we don't mind the difficulties. Which diet's hard because it doesn't have the same reward. The rewards are so long term coming, but you like dodgeball so much that it might be worth, especially when you get you get to the point where you're actually playing every week, you're on a team, you're actually not just having friends in there, but actually friends who also do music. There's a lot of positives to doing.
I think it could be really great. It could be a really good time. I'm not sure if I'm on top of everything else that I'm doing right this second. I'm not sure it's the right timing, but I think now that it's also like I wanted to do it. I actually had everything kind of set up in this tiny little town in California that I was living in, and I decided to move away like right as I got approved to do it. It literally the month before. It took me like 6 months to get approval from the city and all that stuff to rent out the gym, and I had the insurance all set up, and they're like, all right, let's put it on the program. And I'm like, I'm going to have to take a rain check on that.
It's a very, very long-term rain check.
I'm moving to Nashville.
Indefinite rain check.
But I guess it's like, it's with anything. It's like these false starts or whatever they are. It could just be, it's like, well, maybe it's something that's, I think honestly, like the things that I really want are the things that I like so many of the times it's like, what are you really thinking about? What are the things that you kind of get obsessed about and you really want to manifest in your life? And I do know one thing that I want to manifest in my life here in Nashville, that I haven't had yet. I mean, I just moved here, is just like having a really robust social life and having a good time and getting to know a lot of the super cool, talented people. And I like people who like to thing is, dodgeball people, they tend to be like outdoorsy kind of people too. So I kind of tend to get along with dodgeball folks. Tend to be a little more on the rugged side, like rugged, like, you know, people who like to go out in the outdoors and do fun, crazy shit like skydiving, or, you know, I've actually had like so many of the adventures that I've had in my life, going on big camping trips and stuff like that, going to theme parks, all that kind of stuff, have been through the dodgeball leagues that I've played in. So,
oh, that's cool.
yeah.
So you have skydived?
Yeah. And here's the funny thing about that is that I, of all the things that I'm afraid of, heights is probably number one on the list. I really don't love. It took me like 15 minutes to get out to the edge of the Grand Canyon when I went out there. It was like, took me a while. I mean, I got out there, but it was like, for me to stand out on the rail and actually stand up, it took me like so long to do it, just because it's like, I think it's just, I don't know what it is for me. I mean, when I went up in the Space Needle in Seattle, I really didn't like it at all. I was just, especially the thing is the Space Needle, it wobbles.
Well, does it? Like it sways?
Yeah, it sways and you can feel it. And that made me like real. I actually got up there, and then like within like 10 seconds of getting off the elevator, I'm like, I'm out of here. I can't do this.
I haven't been to either of those, the Space Needle or the Grand Canyon, but they're both on my list to check out.
I just think you gotta like. I've always had the perspective to just like go head first into the things that scare you, I guess, is like one of the things. And I think if you obviously want to be reasonable about that, but like, I feel like something that's, I feel like heights is not something to be reasonably afraid of in a lot of situations. It's like, so it's like, well, what can I do? And I ended up like volunteering to be the first person in the group that went out to go skydiving, to jump out of the plane. So it was good. It's good.
What was that like? It had to be, I mean, the actual, I've never done that, but the actual, like, especially if you have already a thing about heights, the actual moment when, I mean, you have to thrust it. It's not like somebody's pushing you at the plane. You have to stand there and then choose to jump.
Well, here's how it works. Like, I mean, anybody who goes for the first time, you're not going to just go up and get a parachute and jump.
Oh, you're doing the, what do you call it? The
tandem. Yeah, you always. Okay. Yeah, you're never gonna go by yourself unless maybe you're in a third world country where they just like say, okay, you just do this. And I mean, maybe there's some places that'll let you just jump out of a plane without any training. But no, when we went to this place in Camarillo, and it was fun. The instructor was really funny, cracking a lot of jokes about dying and like all these things about it. Was like, of course they do, right? Because these are people that like they skydive all the time, and they're just like, let's see if we can razz the people who've never done it before. But it was fun. They took us up there. I think we were up about 10,000 feet in the air, and I was going to be the first person to go. And here's what happened. They were like, okay, so here's the drill. You see that ledge on the plane, because we were like standing outside looking at the plane from outside the plane while we were on the ground. And the instructor was talking about, you see that ledge right there that's off on the side of the plane? We're going to open that door. We're going to walk out onto the ledge, and then we're going to count 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to jump. So that was like the game plan, right? So we're up there 10,000 feet. Dude opens the door, and it's this blast of cold air that just hits your face, and like cold ocean air in Southern California. And we start to, I'm like, okay, here we go. It's going to be fine. This guy's like done thousands of dives. Nothing's going to happen. I don't know. Just all kind of like, I just kind of, I mean, you really don't have a choice at that point. I guess you could say I'm not going to do it, and they probably wouldn't force you to do it if you decided not to. But I'm like, I paid a lot of money to do this. I'm not going to just waste the opportunity. So I just, I start to get up out of the plane. And he's like, of course, like it's tandem. So he's like right behind me, and we start to walk out, and I don't even get to really walk on the ledge. He just jumps us straight out of the plane. Like there was no like 3, 2, 1. There was no walking out on the ledge. He just jumps us like straight out of the fucking plane. And it was interesting. For me, it was like, I would describe it as like the Matrix. It's like those scenes where everything kind of slows down, like time kind of stands still. It was so weird because all of a sudden, like up was down and left was right, and I couldn't tell where anything was, but it was all like everything was like for the first, like, I don't know how long it was, because like I think my sense of time just like got warped. So it all felt like everything was in slow motion for a while. And then, I guess at some point, I didn't do anything to really stabilize us, but the guy I was tandeming with got us stable, and then once it was stable, it was just felt like you were just getting blasted towards the ground like as fast as possible. It was like you were basically like in front of like hurricane force winds, just like blasting the front of you. And once you got over like the just like the exhilaration of it, and you realize you're there. You realize, oh fuck, I'm here. Yeah, this is really fun. And you just started, it was so great. I had a recording of myself doing it. It was because you go do these things. They're like, oh, for $75 extra, we can give you like the GoPro footage and all that stuff. And it's kind of fun to watch. It because there's this moment where it all kind of sunk into me that we're actually like skydiving, we're stable. He's not pulling the parachute for a while. It's just time to like enjoy it and have a good time. So I don't know. I had a really good time. The only thing I didn't like about it was after he pulled the chute, he was doing a bunch of like tricks and stuff like that. And it was kind of making me a little nauseous, like just with the back and forth and all that stuff. And it's for me, it's like, I think it's like sometimes when I'm like riding passenger in a car, it's kind of like that similar kind of, I don't know if y'all ever get that, but sometimes when I'm not driving a vehicle but I'm a passenger in it, it's that disconnect between me wanting to steer the car and the car actually going in a direction that I'm not like anticipating it going in or something like that. I don't know what that sensation is or how you described it.
It's vertigo because it messes with the balance in your ears. So when you were falling hard, you didn't feel it in your stomach. You were just kind of like, you just felt the air. And
I don't know, man. I realized that I needed to breathe was like one of the things. And I realized that everything was okay. So those were the two things. Once I realized that those two things were fine, then it was good. I was, but also like, I don't really remember too much about the beginning of it other than that, like, it's just everything kind of slowed down.
It was like a shock, like a kind of like a shocking thing. Yeah.
Maybe that's what happens when you just kind of, I don't know, but I've never had that experience really before in my life. Because I've had other situations where like life-threatening. Well, that wasn't really a life-threatening situation, but I've had life-threatening situations
for your body. I mean, for your subconscious body, it was. It's like, well, we're falling from a plane.
Could be. I mean, but again, like I've had situations where like literally my life was at risk, and I felt the adrenaline rush and the surge, but it wasn't so much the same like time warping, and like it was just the relationship with time was just really weird when I first hopped out of the plane. Yeah. It was fun. It's good. Like I don't know how much what you caught, Herman, but we were talking about just like facing your fears head on, and also just before that, just it's like the hobbies that you enjoy, and for me, like dodgeball was like actually kind of a connector to a lot of just like adventures, and a lot like connected me with a lot of the people that liked doing like, because I really love like doing weird shit, like trying new things out, down for like trying anything that sounds fun and weird. And that's what a lot of dodgeball people are that way. Actually, some of the best memories of my life in LA were from playing dodgeball, and everything from winning a championship on the Staples center floor to I don't know, just raising $1,000 for charity, like just putting some open gym together, or it's just a lot of fun.
Nice.
I miss it.
Great, man.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure your finances are a lot better living in Nashville than here in LA, because like this is just ridiculous now. Like with I mean, just the gas itself, like $6 is like, come on.
That's crazy. That's
$6 a gallon, really?
Yeah. I mean, I think it went down in some places now to $5.50, $5.80, but it's still like it ain't coming down anymore. But But we're not here to talk about economics or politics.
Well, gas prices in Nashville aren't. I would say that Nashville is just, it's like a step down in pricing from LA. I feel like it's such an exploding city that I feel like prices will continue to rise, and it's just a place that everybody wants to be now, for whatever reason. I mean, there's reasons. Like I can tell you the reasons that I moved here, and I love it so far, and I think a lot of people do like it. But I do think it's definitely cheaper. It's cheaper to live here. And so that's nice. Man, gas prices just they're crazy here though too. I'm paying as much as I used to pay in California for gas here right now. So it's like, and then those prices sucked. So
yeah. Now they suck even more, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd believe it.
It's just out of control. I mean, I'm happy I get to like mostly work from home, but you know, yeah.
I mean, you get like the nice weather all year round. I mean, that's the thing. That's the deal. You get the nice weather year round. You get to
you get the tornadoes and stuff. No,
I guess I don't know. There was a tornado siren the first week that I moved here, and woke me up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I flipped open the screen, and on the news it showed like the box of danger, or like wherever the tornado could go. There was a tornado on the ground, and it was projecting where it could go. And my neighborhood was like right in the middle of like the box of death. And so like, well, I guess this is when I'm supposed to get close to wherever like the safest place in my my townhouse is. And so I was near the little bathroom that's on the first floor. I don't have a basement, so I was near the first floor. Made sure I knew where the cat was, and got my motorcycle helmet, got my sledgehammer, and just in case I needed to bash myself out of the rubble.
Yeah, that's good thinking.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, but I didn't need to go in the bathroom really. I was just like, I don't know. I guess it didn't even look crazy outside. I even went outside for a minute because I was like, oh, it doesn't really seem like it's that bad. I don't know.
But you don't always know when it's coming though. That's the thing about
no, you don't. You don't. I guess
tell.
it's like, yeah, that's probably wasn't the wisest move of me, but I don't know. I'm still here.
That wasn't your near death experience, apparently.
Oh no. Yeah, I've had a couple, but
that's not average. Like a couple near death experiences in your life already. That's like,
well, I mean, I didn't actually like almost pass on and like die and then come back to life or anything like that, but I had a couple situations, at least like a couple of situations that immediately pop into my head that like I very easily could have died. They actually both involved animals. It was very, very kind of wild animals, very, very kind of crazy. Crazy situations. You got to be careful when you go out in nature is like something you can remember.
Yeah.
There's dangerous creatures out there.
I almost stepped on a rattlesnake in Ojai, actually, and in the Ojai wilderness. But luckily, it was like the time of the year where it was still cold, so it was kind of like like in between high, like just kind of waking up. But it was in the middle of the trail, and I'm like just looking at nature and talking and whatnot. And the people behind me all of a sudden like, watch out for the snake, and I stepped right next to it, but luckily it was like just kind of like chilling. So I'm like, it was the closest I've been to a rattlesnake. I was very lucky that the rattlesnake was like drunk or something. I don't know, like
wow,
didn't care.
They're pretty docile, honestly. They're very afraid of humans. So they're the only time, if you really fucked with it, then maybe it would bite you. But they're pretty docile. From what I read. I mean, I've never actually seen one in life. I think snakes in general are not super aggressive. Actually, the most aggressive snakes seem to be ones that aren't poisonous. I just remember when I was a little kid, there were like these snakes that were called bull snakes. And the reason why they were called bull snakes because they were aggressive. They like get up to you, they start hissing at you, like, but they're totally, you get bit and it's not going to hurt you at all. But
over there in Tucson, you get them funky animals, like snakes and tarantulas, and
there's tarantulas here.
There's javelinas,
scorpions, javelinas. We got rattlesnakes, but we also got real cool animals too. Like I got a lot of quail in the yard, and we got some desert rabbits in the neighborhood that are. Yeah. We have like these two rabbits that I guess they're like a couple, but they just work this neighborhood. Like they're around every day. And a lot of quail, a lot of doves, like desert doves. So they're not white, they're like gray. But the quail are like everywhere.
Have you experienced a monsoon storm out there yet?
When I visited in 2019, maybe it's 2020. When we visited in 2020, it was at the end of the monsoon, so it was the greenest. I think they got some ridiculous amount of rainfall last year, and like the mountains were all green. Like it was like that's how much rain they had during the monsoon season. Like it was green everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I wasn't. It was
gorgeous.
just. But there were. It was towards the tail end of that, and they were still worried about people. Like every monsoon season, apparently here, like people drive through the like kind of the hills in the road that get flooded, and people always still think that their cars can make it, and there's always cars
that was something when I remember when I was living there, there's the 4th Avenue tunnel, and like it was like clockwork. Every time there was a big storm, you'd turn on the 5 o'clock news and there'd be some dumbass in the SUV like who gets stuck in the tunnel. And they actually passed a law before I moved away from there that the people who do that had to actually pay for the fire trucks to come out and catch the vehicle from out of there, because it's like, you should know better than to do this. This is not like this is you being a total dumbass.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening every year now. I mean, this is a way of life. You should just know.
You should. Well, there's one thing that's really cool about the monsoons out in Tucson is when it's about to rain out there, there's a plant called the creosote, and it releases kind of this musky smell into the air. So when monsoon season, maybe it's not monsoon season there yet. I think it's probably just
not till later.
Yeah, it's probably just around the corner for you. But when it does, you're in for a treat with all the lightning strikes and like the just crazy, and the clouds will kind of darken up over. It's Mount Lemmon, right? The mountain range that's right over Tucson.
Yeah,
like at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, you'll start to see the clouds kind of like building up, and they get dark, and then it's at that time that there's like this musky smell in the air, and it's from the plants. The plants know it's going to rain. That's like how they signify that it's crazy. Like it smells good. And then it starts to just lightning strikes start coming down all over the place, and then it's just torrential rain that just comes down and overwhelms the drainage system, and it's like you've got like rivers in the streets, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. Fun, actually. Like when I was really young and dumb, I actually one time drove up into Mount Lemmon, up towards Mount Lemmon, like as the lightning was starting to strike, because I wanted to get closer to the action. I mean, I was kind of reckless when I was in college. And
did you have like the aluminum foil cone on your head so you could get
almost? Yeah.
No, I definitely didn't have that. I was driving a not even a 4-wheel. I was driving a 1991 Escort station wagon. Going up there, it's just basically like a big red target for the lightning to hit. And I drove up there, and I got up like pretty high up, and there was lightning striking, and then there was one lightning strike maybe came down like 50 feet away from me, and it just like almost shattered my eardrums, and I can feel the ground shake, and I'm like, okay, I'm going back.
Yeah, that's like last time I was in Sedona. Actually, they I remember we're like, because you go to the vortexes and the big stones and big hills, and you're climbing and doing this thing, and all of a sudden it started raining a little bit, and they tell you like you have to get off the mountain, you have to get off the rocks because every year somebody dies because they get struck by lightning while they're hiking, and it starts raining, because once you're up in the mountain, and especially if it's like very stony mountain and stuff, like that lightning will find you. And every year people die hiking in Sedona because they don't heed the warnings of lightning strikes.
Wow.
Heed the warnings.
Yeah,
heed the nature.
I don't play with lightning. I don't enjoy. I mean, when you can tell when the storm's off at the distance and watching it, but I'm not a fan of storms that are right up on you.
Yeah. I mean, I was a thrill seeker when I was younger, so
He wanted to die. He wanted to taste.
I don't know. I definitely didn't want to die, but I just I don't know. I just didn't. I didn't think it was that dangerous. I thought, oh, you're in a car. It's like the car is gonna absorb it, which is maybe true, maybe not. I don't know. Like I just
Those 4 tires, yeah, they that does provide some protection. I don't know if there's a limit to that though. That's a good question.
There's got to be. I mean, honestly, I'm sure that there have been people that have gotten struck by lightning through the windshield of something like that. Like
in Mexico, they train you. I don't know if you guys ever been to whatever tourist Mexican areas, and then all of a sudden had those people that come up to you with a couple of metal tubes that you grab onto, and they're connected to an electric box, and they turn on the electricity, and you basically pay people to shock you for fun.
Why?
Because it's fun, I guess. I mean, obviously, if you're with a group of people, then all of a sudden you have somebody grabbing, one of the ends. You hold hands, and
you all hold them up together. Yeah, you all
get shot. And then they turn it on, and then everybody gets to be in on the electrocution.
I saw that on the YouTube
they
video.
do that and for money, and people buy that as a pastime in Mexico to just get electrocuted for fun. Yeah.
So they just buy a car battery and then they've got like a business. It's like
it's just a guy, if you're in a little square, you're having your coffee, you're like in a restaurant, and all of a sudden you'll see a guy passing by the same way that they go and it's like they want to sell you candy or gum or
flowers or something.
There's a guy that comes on with his little box and is like, "Who wants a shock? Who wants a shock?" And if people are drunk enough, they're like, I'll take a shock. I'm a man. I'll take it. It becomes like a manly thing to do, and usually actually women fare better than men because they have more pain tolerance. But yeah, and it's apparently fun to see how much can you take of the electrical shock.
All right.
So how many times have you done this, Herman?
Maybe explaining some things. I think
only a few times. I'm not every time that I see the shock guy, I'm in the mood to get engage with him. But sometimes you're just there and you look at your family and you're like, "Hey, abuelita, how you like to get electrocuted?" And you just want to, or something. I don't know.
I can't tell if you're just fucking with us or not. Honestly,
no, bro.
I can't tell this is like some prank. Like this doesn't seem real to me.
No, bro, it is. People will go in the streets with a little box and a couple of tubes, and you will give them money for the privilege of getting electrocuted.
I would say that things have taken like a step down from when I went to Nogales and was in the gringo zone and drinking beers and like I don't know about like getting electrocuted. It doesn't sound
that's old, man. That's old. That's ancient. They used to do that when I was a kid. It's just kind of one of them things.
Wait, so this is like an old practice?
Yeah. This is from way back. I mean, apparently it's always been fun to just get shocked and run around, and people do it for the fun of it. So there's people that sell that kind of entertainment, I guess.
And I don't associate getting shocked with fun. I mean, when I was a little kid, and I had my BB gun and I was running around all over the farm and shooting shit. I remember we had like a section of the fence because we had cattle and all that stuff, and we'd try to keep the cattle in the pasture. Yeah. Sometimes they don't want to be in the pasture, so they're just like, try to break down the fence. And but I didn't know that they had installed electric fencing in a certain place, and I was like aiming my shot. I saw a bird and I wanted to try to shoot it, and I set the gun down and just shot the shit out of me. I was like, so I wasn't expecting it at all, and I just let the gun sit down like full weight of the barrel. And so it wasn't like I could immediately not be shocked. I had to, and I don't know, like my experience of when you're being shocked, it's like you really can't move in a way.
Your muscles won't release.
Your muscles like kind of freeze up, and so fortunately, I mean, it's not that high a voltage, but it was like not fun. And it's like now you realize, oh wait, that's how people get electrocuted. Is just like they're starting to get shocked and they can't move out of the way.
Well, I guess the difference with this one is because you're expecting it, because you know that what you're there for, and also there's a dial. So they start you really low, like almost like you feel like kind of like when you put a battery to your tongue type of thing, like you know what I mean. You feel like a little.
I've never done that either. So
you've never put a 9-volt battery to your tongue?
No. To see if they have charge.
I'm sure it never struck me as like a good idea. I think
it's not dangerous. It's just like a little sensation on your
you
tongue.
just get
It's like
to
a
feel.
little.
If you don't feel anything, then the battery's
a little
bad. And if
bzz.
it shocks you a little bit, then it's good.
You are an anomaly, John.
John,
You
come
like-
on now.
You like you don't want to do the tourist shocking, and you won't do the 9-volt, but you will drive up Mount Lemon in a thunderstorm to see if you can get closer to the lightning.
I don't know, man. I'm an enigma, I guess.
Yeah, and I need my rap in the
You know, maybe,
question.
I think my answer to that question would also be different depending on how many drinks I've had. So it's like, I mean, I guess if I had like 3 or 4 drinks and I was trying to impress somebody that I was with, then maybe that's what this is all about. It's about like impressing some girl or, impressing
You
your
got to be
brother
drunk,
or
of course.
something.
Yes. None of them are sober.
Yeah, because there's no way you would want to do that just kind of like sober. There's no way anybody would want to do that.
See, I mean, I'm just gonna like see if I can just so you know that I'm not like messing with
dude, I
you.
believe you. I believe you now because the fact that you're looking it up. I believe you now.
Yeah, no, it is.
I
it
just
is-
saw a
it
video
is.
about this on TikTok or something somewhere.
That's funny.
Oh man.
Shocking self
Anyways,
sounds like, it's so funny. So funny.
yeah.
Well,
so-
it always devolves. Like, well, I have a feeling this is the way it's always going to be on this show. By the way, there's been one person we've had like one viewer has been on this like almost throughout the entire thing. So whoever you are, thank you for tuning in. Like the number has never gone below 1. So I know that there's like been one person that's been watching us for quite some time here, and just wanted to say hi. We really still don't have any idea what we're doing with this show, so we're just starting this thing up.
But our one viewer, what we're doing. That's why you're here.
We appreciate you. Anyways, this is Beats and Bourbon, and we're going to be here every Thursday night for the foreseeable future. We want to build this into something cool. We don't know exactly what it is yet, but
we might bring the shock box and start giving ourselves shocks in here for your entertainment. So you never know.
Answer the question wrong, and you get shocked.
Where's
a
your
great
hobby?
scene.
Getting shocked.
Shots. That should be the game. Shots or shock. You get it wrong. You take a shot or you get a shock.
Oh, look at that.
Eric got shocked.
If you don't take a shot, you gotta lick a 9-volt.
Oh man.
Right.
I would just, what I would do? I would just get a dead 9-volt, and I'd just be like,
And
Like,
you
there'd be
really
no
need to do.
well.
You need to do a
Yeah,
9-volt.
you really need
9-volt.
to try it.
You gotta know that that's harmless. Now
It's not
when you
as
want to go to
unpleasant as like chewing on aluminum foil. Like that is, I don't understand
why would you do that?
By the way, thanks for putting the worst possible image ever into my head. Like I
chewing on aluminum foil.
never want to think about that. Like I think everybody who has ever handled aluminum foil has thought about that.
No,
And
I would not.
like,
I can't relate to
I'm
that.
not
I don't
about like
think.
putting it in my mouth, but it's like that crunchy kind of metallic kind of.
No, but has it ever happened that you get a little piece of aluminum and you chew on it and it like shocks your whole like nervous system?
Really?
No, you never chewed on
I've never
aluminum foil?
accidentally done
No.
that with aluminum foil. No,
It's horrible. It has
What
happened
does
to me
it do?
because
just the feeling of the sensation of like a kitchen utensil, like if you
Yeah,
bite
but
on
it's something about
it
the
almost feels
metal generates
like
electricity?
electrical. It like shoots through the nerves on your teeth. It feels terrible to chew on like a little piece of
Oh,
Wait,
aluminum.
God,
now, do you have
about it
do
makes
you have
me-
tea sensitivity in general, like with ice cream and stuff?
A little bit, but not too much. But yeah, maybe it's because like the feelings or something like that, or I don't know.
Oh, your
But
feelings.
there's been a
metal
couple
on
of
the
times
metal,
where
maybe.
like a little piece of aluminum went with a sandwich or burrito or whatever the hell you're eating, and then you chew on it, and it just it's like it shocks your whole face. It's crazy.
I have never. I don't want to experience this, but I've
Oh
never
yeah, don't do
experienced
it. Yeah, don't do it. It's bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Random fact.
aluminum
I have,
shocking aluminum is better than what we said bye to the show last time, which was I don't know, it was John doing some immoral things. with the wall with the names of all his students or something like that. It was terrible.
Oh, that was...
Yeah, we don't have to revisit that. By
But I
the
have
way,
to revisit that.
we don't have to go back just because you've been good this time doesn't mean
I do think we should end the show the same way every week, but it doesn't.
Every time we're just gonna have that image.
We don't need to end by saying like how our first show went. Like
We're gonna keep on adding as he's doing that. He's chewing foil and leaking 9 volts like crazy. It's like it's the whole thing. Like the guy from In Excess or something.
Definitely takes after the halfway point, the show definitely takes a turn. Like I'm not going to say like it's a worse turn. I mean, I actually think this is fun, but things get more real. I think the second hour.
It's like Picasso said, man. The art needs to be wrapped in barbed wire and nails for it to be true and really enjoyed by the spectator, by the people that's consuming the art. It needs to be dangerous. And yeah.
Good times. Well, I think we're right up against the end of this 2 hours of it goes by fast. It's been fun hanging out. And for anybody out there who wants to know more about what we do, you can just go to the little URL that we have right down there on trying to point it in the right direction.
It's like a mirror image.
It's so weird. It's tripping me out. Yeah, it's like a puzzle. Oh, there we go. It's like this. I got it. It's like right down there is beatsandbourbon.club. beatsandbourbon.club because fuck.com and fuck.net and somebody else is like squatting on those names and they're not doing anything with them. But maybe we'll buy them someday because we're just killing it. But yeah, we're beatsandbourbon.club. We're here on Thursday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you can put that in your calendar. We'd love to hang out with you again next week. Anything else y'all got to say before we peace out?
It was real as usual. People, take care of y'all. Take care of yourselves, and be nice to each other because it's crazy out there.
And hold your families close.
And your enemies closer.
I've just seen that in like a couple of like these like apocalyptic movies. It's like, hold your families close. That's funny. Eric,
the end is near. We should have an Armageddon special one of these days and just give our predictions on how do you think the world's gonna end.
We can just pretend that the world's about to end and just like have the stream be like that. Like we're I don't know.
It's too close to reality right now. We might.
It's not too far off. Not too far off. I will admit that. But things are not in a great spot right now.
Let's just say that society in this particular country, there's a possibility that things might go south by the next election. But we're not going to talk about that. But I just think that it's gonna get crazy a little bit. It already is.
Armageddon's coming.
It's coming.
Armageddon report on Beats and Bourbon next week.
Hey, that actually pulls like a lot of views. Like, go with the apocalyptic. Like, let's all just turn like hardcore Christian and
we gotta do something to spike the numbers here. So we spike the drinks and spike the numbers.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think you need to think about my shots and shot game. I think that's the winner.
Yeah, we'll meet about this. We're gonna discuss.
We're gonna call it Beats and Jesus and the Apocalypse, and like just like really go full on conspiracy theory. Joe Rogan, the whole thing. We're gonna be talking about gay frogs and the conspiracy to eliminate us all.
What?
Oh, good note to end on. You always are so good with those words. You're so good with it. Great job, Herman Bursinho, everybody. Eric Campbell, I'm John Kleinbell. It's been fun. It's been real. And we'll see you again next time. All right. Catch you next time.
Easy.
All right.